Across the world, there are places humans abandoned for terrifying reasons. Entire cities left empty, buildings frozen in time, underground tunnels sealed beneath modern civilization. Some locations abandoned after disasters, others after economic collapse. And a few surrounded by stories that were never fully explained. But one thing connects them all. People left, and many never returned. Here are some of the most dangerous abandoned places on Earth. One of the most infamous is the Chernobyl exclusion zone, where after the nuclear disaster in 1986, entire cities were evacuated overnight. Homes were left untouched, schools still held books and toys, and an amusement park that never opened stood in complete silence. And even today, parts of the zone remain radioactive. Nature has taken over what humans abandoned, and walking through it feels like stepping into a frozen moment in history. Beneath modern cities, another hidden world exists. Abandoned underground tunnels stretching for miles. Once used for transport or military operations, now sealed, flooded, or unstable. Where explorers report strange echoes, sudden dead ends, and reinforced walls blocking entire paths with no explanation left behind. Then there is Hashima Island, once a crowded industrial hub and one of the most densely populated places on Earth at its peak. But after the coal industry collapsed, it was completely abandoned, leaving behind concrete buildings by the ocean, broken stairways, dark hallways, and silent windows staring out at the sea like a city frozen between life and decay. Another haunting location is the Pripyat amusement park, where rusting rides still stand under open skies. Ferris wheels never turned. Bumper cars slowly decaying in nature, and what makes it disturbing is how suddenly everything stopped. A normal city turned into silence almost overnight with no time to react. Some abandoned places are tied to secrecy, including deserted military bases scattered across remote regions. Hidden bunkers, restricted zones, and underground structures with unknown purposes, where explorers sometimes report sealed rooms, massive locked doors, and tunnels that simply vanish into darkness with no official explanation. Old mine shafts add another layer of danger, with collapsed tunnels stretching deep beneath the ground. Hidden entrances in forests or deserts leading into complete darkness, where risks include collapse. Toxic gases and total isolation, and even sound behaves strangely underground, making every step feel uncertain. There are also abandoned hospitals where long corridors sit covered in dust. Operating rooms remain frozen in decay, and patient beds are left untouched for decades, creating an atmosphere that feels heavier than when the buildings were actually in use. Ghost towns tell a different story entirely. Entire communities suddenly empty. Shops abandoned midday, cars rusting under the sun, dust slowly covering everything. Some left due to economic collapse, others due to disasters or environmental change. But seeing a whole town completely empty feels almost unreal, like humanity simply vanished. Even extreme environments hold abandoned mysteries, such as frozen Arctic stations and research bases buried in ice, where structures creak under freezing winds and isolation becomes total, cut off completely from the outside world for years at a time. And finally, there are remote lighthouse islands, isolated rock formations, surrounded by violent seas. Some linked to unexplained disappearances of lighthouse keepers, where meals were left untouched and equipment abandoned. It's most likely due to harsh weather conditions, but the mystery still lingers. The truth is, these places are dangerous for many reasons. Radiation, collapse, isolation, extreme environments, and even human curiosity itself. But sometimes what makes them truly unsettling is not the danger, but the silence. The feeling that something about these places is wrong. Explorers often report strange sounds in empty buildings, movement where nothing should exist, and the overwhelming feeling of being watched while completely alone. Because fear changes perception, especially in places that should not feel alive anymore. So what really remains in these abandoned places? Only ruins and decay, or traces of something we never fully understood, because sometimes it feels like some places are not just abandoned,